stop right there. Have you ever started a task full of energy, only to feel completely lost and lazy after just a few hours? You set a goal, promise yourself to stick to it, and then nothing. You feel frustrated, disappointed, like you're failing over and over again. Imagine if you could completely change that feeling, not just for a day, but forever. Today, I will show you a secret that has helped millions of people in Japan to become incredibly disciplined, focused, and successful. This is not a trick. This is not just motivation that disappears in an hour. This is a system, a way of living that builds habits so strong you don't have to try to be disciplined anymore. You become discipline itself. Let me ask you, do you want that? Do you want to wake up each day with energy, focus, and confidence, knowing that step by step you are becoming better than yesterday? If yes, then you are in the right place. The first secret of Japanese discipline is called Kaizen. Kaizen is the art of small, daily improvement. Not big changes overnight, not sudden life transformations, just one small action every day that makes your life a little better. 1% today, 1% tomorrow, and soon. It adds up to enormous results. Let me explain why this is so powerful. If you improve just 1% every day for a year, you won't be 365% better. No, you will be 37 times better. Think about it. A tiny action repeated daily can change your life completely. This is exactly how Japan recovered after World War II. The country was destroyed. Everything seemed impossible. But they didn't try to fix everything at once. Instead, they focused on small improvements in factories, schools, streets, homes, and businesses. Every small step mattered. Every tiny change added up. And today, companies like Toyota, Sony, and Honda are leaders in the world. Not because they were lucky, not because they had the best products at first, but because they practiced Kaizen every single day. Imagine this. In a Toyota factory, even a brand new worker can stop the entire production line if they notice a small problem or have an idea for improvement. A single worker can make billions of dollars worth of production better just by speaking up. This is power. This is discipline. This is taking ownership of your life. And the magic is this. You don't need to do everything perfectly. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to become the most productive person in the world overnight. You just need to ask yourself one simple question every day. What can I improve just 1% today? Maybe it's making your bed a little neater. Maybe it's reading a few pages of a book. Maybe it's choosing water instead of soda. Maybe it's writing down your goals. Whatever it is, small actions repeated daily become unstoppable discipline. Kaizen removes the pressure to be perfect. You don't say, I failed again. You start saying, I improved today. I will improve tomorrow. And that tiny change every day, over time, will take you to places that motivation alone can never reach. Now, think about your life. One small improvement every day, nothing else. Imagine where you will be in a month. Imagine where you will be in a year. You are not just building habits. You are building yourself. You are becoming someone who doesn't need motivation because discipline is now part of who you are. Kaizen is the first rule. Small, daily improvement. 1% today, 1% tomorrow. Real examples, real power. And now we move to the second rule. Ikigai. This is where discipline meets purpose. Because even the best system will fail if you don't have a reason to keep going. Ikigai is the Japanese word for the reason your life is worth living. It is the emotional force, the deep meaning that makes you jump out of bed in the morning. Without Ikigai, even discipline can feel empty. But with it, you don't need more motivation. You don't need hacks or tricks. You just need a reason, a strong reason, a fire inside you that never goes out. Stop for a moment. Have you ever wondered why some people never give up, no matter how hard life hits them? They don't rely on motivation. They don't wait for inspiration. And yet they keep moving forward every single day. You might think they have some secret power, but the truth is simpler and more powerful than you imagine. It's called Ikigai. Imagine being pulled forward every morning, not by pressure or fear, but by something bigger than yourself. You don't push, you flow. This is exactly how Jiro Ono lives. He is a Japanese sushi chef, over 90 years old, yet his energy and focus are legendary. His restaurant has 3 Michelin stars. People wait months just to get a reservation, and even Barack Obama said it was the best sushi he ever tasted. But here's the secret. Jiro doesn't wake up for fame. He doesn't wake up for money. He wakes up because sushi is his life, his purpose, his Ikigai. For more than 70 years, he has done the same work every day, making sushi. Most people would call this boring. Same rice, same fish, same process. But not Jiro. Every day is a chance to get better, to improve, to perfect his craft. Even now, he says he hasn't mastered it. There is always room to improve, and that is the key to why his discipline is unbreakable. When you have Ikigai, discipline is no longer a struggle. You don't need someone to tell you to get up or push yourself. Your heart pulls you forward. Think of a soldier. He doesn't need motivation to train. He trains because his country depends on him. A mother doesn't need discipline to care for her child. She does it because that child is her world. An artist doesn't need to force herself to paint. She paints because creating is like breathing. Ikigai gives you that same natural pull. You wake up and move forward because you must, not because you should. And here's the step-by-step way to find your own Ikigai. Step 1. What do you love? Ask yourself, what makes time disappear? What can you do for hours without getting tired? What excites you just thinking about it? Step 2. What are you good at? Even if you are not perfect, where do you feel confident? Writing, drawing, speaking, teaching, creating. What do people notice in you? Step 3. What does the world need? Look outside yourself. What problem do you want to solve? Who do you want to help? What difference do you want to make? Step 4. What can you be paid for? You might love something, like playing guitar, but can you turn it into a way to live? The point is to find the intersection of all 4. Even if it's small, even if it's imperfect, that is your Ikigai. There's a place in Japan called Okinawa, famous because so many people live past 100 years. Researchers ask them why. Was it diet? Exercise? No, they said it was Ikigai. One man said, "Every day I wake up. I have something to do, someone to help, a garden to grow, a smile to give. That is my reason to live." These people don't retire and wait for life to end. They live fully, with purpose, until their last breath. And this is not magic. This is discipline powered by meaning, by Ikigai. You might be thinking, I don't know my Ikigai yet. That's fine. You don't find it instantly. You build it through reflection, courage, and action. Start by doing more of what excites you, even if it's small, even if it's unpaid. Explore new skills, try new hobbies, volunteer, create small projects around what interests you. Say no to what feels meaningless. Say yes to what matters, and never chase money first. Chase meaning. When your life has meaning, success and wealth naturally follow. Ikigai is your reason to wake up in the morning. It is the fuel that makes discipline effortless. You don't struggle to act, you act because your heart demands it. Once you live with Ikigai, you never wake up feeling empty or lost again. And this is the essence of Japanese discipline. It is not strict rules or harsh routines. It is a connection to what matters most. Stop right now and imagine this. Real discipline is not about trying harder when someone watches you. It's not about pushing yourself because you feel guilty or afraid. Real discipline is who you are, even when nobody is looking, even when no reward is coming. This is Shitsuke, one of the deepest secrets of Japanese culture, a discipline so natural it becomes part of your character. Shitsuke is self-discipline, but not as a rule or a punishment. It's a way of living. It's values written in your soul, not on paper. It starts from childhood in Japan, not with fear or yelling, but with simple, repeated actions, observation, and small rituals. Let me take you inside a Japanese elementary school. Every morning, children arrive wearing neat uniforms, polite smiles, and carrying a cloth to clean their classrooms. There are no janitors. They clean classrooms, toilets, hallways, even lunch areas. Why? Not because adults force them. Not because someone is watching. Because cleaning is a practice. It teaches responsibility, respect, and consistency. Every small act shapes their character. They don't complain because this is normal. This is Shitsuke in action. And here's the hard truth most people never understand. The reason discipline fails is not laziness. It's treating discipline like a tool, something to pick up only when convenient. You eat clean only before a wedding, study only before an exam, work hard only when the boss is around. That is not discipline. That is performance. Shitsuke flips this. It teaches that if something is worth doing, it should be done with care, pride, and regularity, even when invisible to the world. True success doesn't come from big, dramatic actions. It comes from small, consistent acts done well, day after day. Every time you act with care, you build your character. Every time you repeat good habits, you shape your identity. Let's see another example. The Japanese tea ceremony. Every gesture, from walking to pouring tea to holding the cup, is done with precision. The tea master trains for decades, practicing the same movements over and over until discipline becomes second nature. It's not about tea itself, it's about mindset. Every motion reflects the inner character, the care, the presence, the respect. This mindset then flows into every other area of life. You may not attend a Japanese school, and you may never serve tea formally, but the principle is the same. Every act you do is training your identity. Every time you show up on time or arrive late, you practice who you are. Every time you organize or leave things messy, you shape your habits. Every word spoken with respect or anger is a brick in the building of your character. That is Shitsuke. It's not about rules or punishment. It's about repetition and awareness. Discipline doesn't have to feel hard. It can become automatic if you design your life correctly. Here's how to start today. Respect small tasks. Don't wait for big challenges to act disciplined. Fold your clothes neatly. Put your phone away after use. Clean your desk. Do even small acts with focus and pride. Brush your teeth with full attention. Eat your meals with awareness. The way you do small things becomes the way you do everything. Stop outsourcing responsibility. Don't wait for someone else to fix your mess, your problem, or your work. Take ownership of your part. Shitsuki is ownership, not excuses. Lead by example, not by lectures. If you are a parent, teacher, or leader, don't just tell others to be disciplined. Show them through consistent actions. Actions repeated daily are what build real character. This is why the Japanese are so naturally disciplined. Every moment, every small act trains them. It becomes instinct. And here's the key takeaway. Discipline is not about harsh rules. It is about creating systems, routines, and habits that make discipline automatic. Start small. Start today. Respect the ordinary. Act with care. Repeat. Build your identity through your actions, and you will find that real discipline is no longer a struggle. It is who you are. Stop and ask yourself this. How long have you been making small changes, only to feel stuck in the same place? How long have you tried to improve bit by bit, only to wake up and realize nothing has really changed? There comes a moment when tiny improvements, consistency, and habits are not enough. When life demands a bold, radical step, small adjustments are useless. This is the power of kaikaku. Kaikaku is the Japanese discipline of radical change. It is not about panic or quitting when things get hard. It is about courage, awareness, and the discipline to rebuild your life when your current path no longer serves you. Kaikaku means reform, transformation, breaking the old system and creating a new one. It is saying no to comfort and yes to growth. Imagine a life where your routines, habits, even your environment are holding you back. That life is over. You need to make a dramatic shift. It could mean quitting a job that slowly drains your energy, leaving toxic relationships, deleting every digital distraction that steals your focus, or redesigning your daily schedule to align with the life you truly want. Kaikaku is not for the lazy or the faint-hearted. It is for those who dare to face reality and act decisively. Let's take an example from Japan's business world. Nintendo. Today, Nintendo is a $60 billion gaming giant. Everyone knows Mario, Zelda, and Pokemon, but few know the radical changes behind its success. Nintendo started in 1889 making handmade playing cards for Japanese families. For nearly 70 years, they stayed in that business. By the 1950s, demand was falling. The old ways no longer worked. This was their kaikaku moment. They could have stayed comfortable making cards like always, but instead, they had the discipline to transform. They experimented with toys, electronics, and eventually video games. By the 1980s, the Nintendo Entertainment System revolutionized gaming. They destroyed the old to create what was necessary. That is keikaku, bold, disciplined, radical action. Now, let's connect it to real life. Sometimes kaizen, slow improvement, is not enough. If your life is slipping, if your health, energy, or opportunities are declining, small steps cannot save you. You need a radical shift today. Here's a story of a man who did just that. At 38, he had what looked like a normal life, a steady job, family, a small house. On the outside, everything seemed fine, but inside he was miserable, unhealthy, addicted to junk food and screens, anxious, depressed, stuck. He tried improving slowly, reading books, starting routines, making resolutions. Nothing worked. Why? Because he was trying to fix a broken system from inside it. Then one day, he made a decision. He took a week off, shut down his phone, removed every processed food from his kitchen, canceled unnecessary subscriptions, woke up at 5 a.m., walked for 90 minutes, wrote in a journal, and rebuilt his day from scratch. Was it easy? No. Did it feel comfortable? Absolutely not. But it worked. That week was the beginning of a new life. It wasn't a magic fix. It wasn't permanent overnight. But it was the turning point. Kaikaku isn't about avoiding fear or difficulty. It is about embracing the challenge because you know that the old ways are no longer acceptable. Your life demands it. The courage to act, the discipline to break old habits, and the structure to rebuild from the ground up is what sets lifelong winners apart. Small improvements are important, but knowing when to take radical action separates those who remain stuck from those who grow beyond limits. Kaikaku is saying, enough. I will no longer live in this system. I will create a new one, and I will live by it. It is the Japanese art of bold, disciplined transformation. And the lesson is simple. If your life feels trapped, stagnant, or falling apart, don't wait for tomorrow. Don't hope for motivation. Take a radical step today. Change the system. Break the old patterns and build the life you deserve. Discipline is not only patience and repetition. Stop for a second and ask yourself, how long have you been living the same life, repeating the same mistakes, feeling stuck but hoping things will magically get better? If your answer is yes, then you don't need more motivation. You don't need another pep talk. You need kaikaku, the discipline of radical change. Kaikaku is the moment you decide to burn the old blueprint and draw a new one. It's the courage to say, enough. This no longer works. Ask yourself right now, am I repeating the same problems month after month? Am I surviving instead of thriving? Am I blaming my environment instead of changing it? Am I waiting for the right time to start over? If you answered yes, then it's time. You already know what must change. You've known it for a long time, but fear, comfort, or habit has held you back. Kaikaku is not easy. It is scary. It requires emotional courage. But you don't need to do everything at once. You only need to identify the one thing that's keeping you trapped and change it fully, boldly, without hesitation. Is it your routine? Your job? Your circle of friends? Your health habits? Name it. Commit to it. Quit what you have been tolerating. Start what you've been avoiding. Let go of your past identity. Kaikaku is saying, I am no longer who I was. I am creating a new version of myself. Even if others don't understand, even if it feels lonely, even if fear lingers, you move forward because growth demands it. But bold action is only part of the process. Discipline doesn't survive on excitement or willpower alone. You must build a structure around the new you, a new schedule, new tools, new standards. Break your old patterns. Protect your future, not your comfort. Kaikaku is the Japanese art of radical reform. It's what allowed Nintendo to leave playing cards behind, experiment, innovate, and dominate the gaming industry. It's what ordinary people use to stop repeating the same failures and start creating their own future. Small changes build habits. Radical changes build new lives. Growth never comes from systems that shrink you. It comes from transforming them. And now, once you've made the bold decision to change, comes another essential Japanese rule: Hansei. This is the discipline of honest self-reflection. In a world obsessed with success, people avoid looking inward. They fear mistakes, criticism, or failure. But the strongest individuals and companies grow because they stop, reflect, and take responsibility. Hansei is not casual thinking. It's not journaling, and it's not a soft, I'll do better next time. Hansei is brutally honest evaluation. It's the discipline of pausing, asking, what went wrong? Where did I fail? What could I have done differently? Hansei teaches you to take ownership without excuses. Every day, Japanese individuals, students, and companies practice Hansei. They reflect on mistakes, successes, and outcomes. They analyze, learn, and adapt. This creates continuous growth, humility, and resilience. The purpose of Hansei is not to punish yourself. It is to become sharper, wiser, and more disciplined. It builds the mental strength to face challenges and the clarity to avoid repeating errors. For example, in a Japanese company, after a failed project, the team doesn't blame others. They gather, ask hard questions, admit mistakes, and plan improvements. The same applies to your life. Reflect on your actions daily. Ask yourself, did I act with discipline? Did I honor my commitments? Did I show respect and care? Where can I improve? This daily practice makes your discipline conscious, precise, and unstoppable. Kaikaku gave you the courage to change. Hansei gives you the wisdom to stay on track. Kaikaku changes your path. Hansei sharpens your steps. Combine them with the earlier rules, Kaizen, Ikigai, Shitsuke, and you create a life of unstoppable discipline, growth, and purpose. Japanese discipline is not about forcing yourself or chasing motivation. It's about building systems inside your mind, heart, and actions that naturally guide you to excellence.